Live from Las Vegas. I'm Diego Sanchez, president of HousingWire, and I'm joined today by a special guest. It's Brian Zitten, the CEO and co-founder of Reggora. Brian, so great to chat with you today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you recently announced kind of a big announcement, 24-hour appraisals. Tell us about it.
So, I'm sure as you've heard throughout the last couple of decades, appraisal's always been kind of like the, bottleneck around everything. People have always said it's like the slowest part of the process, and Fannie and Freddie have introduced new ways to try to combat that, whether it was waivers, but even if you remember like 2021, the crazy refi boom, appraisals were taking literally weeks. So it was holding up everything. And that was when appraisal waivers were at like 40%, and they've come down substantially. So today, appraisal is still an issue, especially for those lenders who are trying to do quick closings. Like some of our top customers, their goal is 10 to 14 day closings, and if the appraisal is taking 5 to 10 days, it's going to prevent that. So we made it our mission to see how we can reduce the turn time as much as possible. And so we just announced a 24-hour appraisal. It's eligible on 80 to 90% of all conventional transactions. So this isn't like, oh, we're going to do it sometimes or in this specific situation. Like, this will be the new standard of how appraisals get done moving forward. And so, super excited about it.
It's pretty amazing. What kind of infrastructure and processes and technology did the Reggora team need to build to make this a possibility?
A lot. We, over the lifetime of Reggora, have raised $80 million. Most of that has gone into engineering, R&D, building out everything. So we have our core appraisal platform, which is what our hundreds of customers use today to manage the full A to Z appraisal process. Then what we realized was, no matter how much software we build, if we're not in control of our own destiny in terms of fulfilling the appraisal, there's only so much we can do. So about 2.5 years ago, we launched our own appraisal marketplace. It's licensed as an AMC in all 50 states. So we can actually fulfill appraisals as well. So we have the core software, the fulfillment. Now, the 24-hour appraisal is a hybrid appraisal. And so what that means is someone who's not the appraiser is doing the actual inspection.
Oh, okay.
And then they send that inspection data to the appraiser who does the report at their desktop. So basically the workflow, let's say that you're a borrower going through a refi, let's say, or a purchase. Way earlier in the mortgage application process, we're going to send someone to the property to do data collection for free. We won't charge you or the lender anything. So that when you are finally ready to order the appraisal, it's all done, and we're just sending it to the appraiser who's finishing at their desk. So that required us to build a mobile app for the inspection, to do like a LiDAR scan, gather all the information. So it's literally the full thing from ordering, fulfillment, inspection, the appraiser portion of it, everything A to Z.
So tell us more about those data collectors, because that's an interesting new part of this process.
Yeah.
Are they, how are they trained? How are they certified to go out and collect the appropriate data?
Yeah. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have set these standards, and there is a very specific data set that has to be gathered called the Uniform Property Data Set. So our mobile app is aligned with that. And then these data collectors are real estate professionals, whether it's like a real estate agent, insurance adjuster, foreclosure, occupancy specialist, people who have already familiar with real estate. They go through our own training program. We background check them. They're using our own technology. We have like vendor scorecards, so we know who's good, who's bad, all that sort of stuff, so we can use the best of the best. And then they follow the mobile app, kind of like TurboTax.
Okay.
You can imagine going through a property, going through various checkboxes, take a picture of the bathroom, take a picture of this, do this. And then it spits out the magical UAD data set.
So they're walking around the property with some kind of handheld device,
Right.
and that device is telling them, do this next.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
So they've collected the data. Is there a time limit for how long of a time period between when the data is collected and when the appraiser actually does the evaluation?
That depends on the speed with which the borrower moves through the transaction, some of the timing with the mortgage lender workflows. So let's say you are applying for a refi, we could send the data collector out right away, and then it takes you, another week and a half to get all your documents together, everything. Now you're ready to order the appraisal. Boom, we just send it to the appraiser, turns around 24 hours. So it kind of depends on you, the borrower, the workflow of the mortgage lender, but the goal is the inspection's done well in advance of the appraisal so that by the time you do need it, it's already done.
So with this 24-hour commitment, is this a geographic or regional commitment, or is it a nationwide commitment?
So it should be nationwide because if you think about how long it takes the appraiser to just create the report, like most of the turn time of the appraisal today, scheduling the inspection, going to the property, finding the comps. But when you're actually creating the report, most appraisers get it done in 3-4 hours. Mm-hmm. So if we're giving an appraiser, here's everything you need, and turn around in 24 hours, they should be able to do that. And so there's nothing preventing this from being done nationwide.
And is it a commitment that you make on both the software side of your platform and the AMC side, or is it just focused on the appraisers that you control through the AMC?
This has to be done through our appraisal marketplace because obviously we need to be the ones coordinating all the logistics of this. So customers of our software would then use our appraisal marketplace to get these 24-hour appraisals done.
Got it. Yeah. So tell me more about this appraisal marketplace. It's been in operation for how long now?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. How's it going?
Mm-hmm.
What have you improved on over time? What areas were there gaps that you had to fill in? Yeah. Tell me more about the marketplace.
So let me just give you the quick genesis of it. Like I said, we had this very robust automated software, but we were not in control of our own destiny when it came to fulfillment. And when a lender is trying to find the right appraiser for the right job, they're only using their own data versus we have data across hundreds of thousands of transactions, right? So imagine Uber and Lyft, but instead of, high-level algorithms, it's like 1,000 different taxi dispatch companies, right? So we are the Uber type approach. And so we have all this information about the whereabouts of these appraisers, what their schedule is. And so it started off just in traditional appraisals. It is the most used vendor across our entire platform. So it's had a high level of success. If the normal appraisal is taking 5 to 10 days, through our appraisal marketplace, it's generally anywhere from 20 to 30% faster. Mm-hmm. And then we took it to a whole other level with the 24-hour appraisal, obviously. So, but it started with that.
I've always been fascinated with Reggora because you are working to speed up an industry that has a shrinking workforce, an aging workforce. How do you do that?
I mean, this will be a controversial message, but that is the entire reason, well, not the entire reason, but one of the main reasons Fannie and Freddie added these. If you think about hybrid appraisals, let's say I'm an appraiser and I can do 2 or 3 a day of these just at my desk. Before I could only do maybe one a day. Mm-hmm. So the number of needed appraisers is going down because the individual appraiser can be so much more productive now, just doing the analysis portion of it. And so that's what these products are purpose-built for a declining appraiser population.
Have you seen any friction between data collectors and the data that they produce and appraisers, some of whom have been working with clipboards for a long time?
As you can imagine, there are the appraisers who are like, I will never do this, and then there are appraisers like, I love this and I only want to do these, right? We did a poll across tens of thousands of appraisers. The majority wanted to do this. There will, of course, always be, we need to stay on top of quality and make sure the data collectors are doing a good job, and maybe one slips through the cracks where we need to address it, reorder it. But on the whole, we have analytics, quality process training to ensure that the data collector and the appraiser are working happily together.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned $80 million in investment over time in the business, a lot of which went to technology, including a recent round of $18 million. What are you doing with that money in terms of what are you building for what comes next after the 24-hour appraisal? What are you going to launch in 2026 that's going to keep things rolling?
That is a little bit of a secret. There will always be more. I mean, that's the unique thing about Reggora. There are not many as tech-focused companies in the appraisal industry as us. A lot of that money is going to just pure engineering, making the product better and better every day, whether it's improving some of the logistics, making the experience more frictionless. And so we do new releases every 2 weeks. So we have a lot to do all the time. And so most of it is just continuing to grow our engineering team, product, our support team. Just you can imagine we're getting a lot of demand. And so just being able to scale up the company and be able to do that in a way where it's financially comfortable and easy.
I mean, there are so many lenders that are trying to differentiate on that speed to close. I have to imagine this is a big opportunity for you.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be the new standard. Like if you can get the same thing, order an appraisal and get it done in 6 days or 24 hours, what are you going to do, right? So people are going to go to the 24 hour.
Well, Brian, it's always great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.